We're about to uncover this incredible hidden connection that links pretty much every living thing you can see, from the tallest tree to the smallest bug. It's a story that's written deep inside our cells, and it's billions of years in the making.
So let's just kick things off with a puzzle that really gets to the heart of it all. What could a mushroom just pushing up through the forest floor possibly have in common with a massive blue whale, the biggest animal on the entire planet? I mean, on the surface, you'd say absolutely nothing, right?
But yeah, the answer isn't on the surface. It's written in this ancient biological code, a blueprint that's tucked away deep inside their cells. And here's the wild part. That very same blueprint, that same core story, is running inside every single one of your cells right now.
Okay, so to crack this mystery, we're basically going to crash a massive family reunion. This family is called the eukaryotes, and it includes some of the most insanely diverse life forms on Earth. Our job is to be the detectives here, to find the clues that tie this very, very strange family together.
I mean, just look at this guest list. You've got towering trees, complex animals like us, sprawling fungi, and even microscopic protists. It honestly seems impossible that we're all related. But despite all these mind-boggling differences, we all belong to the same club. The evidence is literally built into our biology.
So here's the plan. We are going to hunt down 3 key pieces of evidence. Think of them as 3 genetic clues that, once we put them all together, are going to solve the case of our shared ancestry once and for all.
All right, detective hats on. Our first clue takes us to the microscopic level, deep inside a eukaryotic cell. And what we find? Well, it's not just some empty bag of goo, it's this vibrant, super organized city.
The buildings in this cellular city are called organelles, and each one is wrapped in its own membrane. Now, the analogy here is just perfect. Every organelle is like a specialized department in a factory. You've got the main office, the power plant, the assembly line, each with its own walls and a very specific job to do. This internal complexity, that's the hallmark of a eukaryote. And just check out the main departments. The nucleus, that's like the CEO's office, holding all the company blueprints. The mitochondria, they're the power generators, keeping the lights on 24/7. So here's the really crucial point. It doesn't matter if you're looking inside a mushroom cell, a whale cell, or one of your own cells. You find the same basic city plan. That is a huge clue. Okay, for clue number 2, we're zooming right into that CEO's office, the nucleus, because it's not just that we have a nucleus, it's all about how the blueprints inside are organized. And this is where eukaryotes take a completely different path from simpler life forms, like bacteria.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On the left, eukaryotes store their genetic data in multiple rod-shaped chromosomes. It's like a library full of neatly organized, separate books. But prokaryotes, on the right, their entire genetic code is one long, continuous circle, like a single giant scroll. This isn't just a different filing system, it's a completely different way of storing information.
This is a major fork in the road of life. The fact that every single eukaryote, from a tiny yeast cell to a giant sequoia tree, uses this library of books system is just smoking gun evidence. They didn't all come up with this idea separately. No way. They inherited it from a common ancestor who had already split off from that ancient scroll group. Now, our third and final clue, this might be the most surprising one of all. It's a secret that's hidden not in the cell's structure, but in the actual text of the genetic code itself. It's this really weird feature of our genes that points to an incredibly complex piece of shared, ancient technology. This secret is something called an intron. Okay, imagine you're reading a recipe for a cake, right? But in the middle of the instructions, there are just random paragraphs of total gibberish, weird notes, ads for kitchen gadgets. Those are introns, stretches of DNA that don't code for anything, right in the middle of a working gene. It's junk text that has to be taken out before the recipe makes any sense.
So how does the cell handle this? Well, it's got this fascinating process. First, the whole gene, junk included, gets copied into a temporary message. Then, this tiny editing team comes in and performs a process called splicing. They meticulously snip out every single intron and then stitch the useful parts, the exons, back together to make a clean, final copy. It is literally a high-tech molecular editing suite.
And this is the kicker. This whole bizarre system, writing junk into your genes and then building a complex machine just to edit it out, is a standard feature in all eukaryotes, but it's almost completely missing in prokaryotes.
So you have to ask yourself, why on earth would a mushroom, a whale, and a human all independently invent such a strange, complicated process? The only logical answer is they didn't. They all inherited it from the same ancestor.
All right, the investigation is over. We've laid out our 3 main lines of evidence. So let's step back and deliver the final verdict.
So here's the case we've built. Clue number 1, that shared cellular city plan, packed with all those membrane-bound organelles. Clue number 2, the universal library of book system for storing our DNA. And clue number 3, that weird but shared system of editing junk code, the introns, out of our genes.
Look, these aren't just 3 little coincidences. These are deep, complex, fundamental features of how life works. They are the unmistakable genetic fingerprints of a single common ancestor who passed these traits down to all of its descendants. So, the answer to that first question, a mushroom and a whale have so much in common because billions of years ago, they had the same great, well, you get the idea, their family.
And this all brings us to one final, really powerful idea. The story that's written in our cells isn't just about biology. It's a story of profound unity. It connects you not just to whales and mushrooms, but to the entire visible web of life on this planet. So the question I want to leave you with is this. If our most fundamental blueprint screams connection, how does that change the way we see ourselves and everything else?